How are we doing, guys? And welcome back to All These TV. Reacting to the latest news last couple of days. Bit of reactions to the Birmingham game as well. But all in all, complete waste of time, complete waste for a weekend, and a complete waste of the start of the season. It's an absolute disaster at this moment in time. There's no two words around it. Yes, it's a long season, but it's going to be a long season at this rate. There is nothing to be positive about. It's been an absolute disaster of a start to the season. To be honest with you, there's a lot of different angles you can look at this from. But first and foremost, I've got to look at the players. I've got to look at the players involved in this squad. Well, not involved in this squad by the looks of things. And there's no other words for it. I'm furious. I wouldn't say heartbroken, because heartbroken is when you lose players that actually have done things for this football club. People like Pablo Hernandez, Rafinha, Marcelo Bielsa. That was heartbreak. What annoys me more than anything is not so much the players going, it's the gap they've left, the spaces that they've left in the squad, in which we already had work to do. Now all of a sudden we've got a situation where we haven't got enough wingers. All of a sudden that was the strength of the team. That's now all of a sudden could be becoming the weakness of the team. But quite simply, if they don't want to be here, I'm not naming names because there's so many contrasting reports, but it's quite clear there are some players in this squad, many players in this squad who don't want to be here. And some are maybe being a little bit wiser than others, I guess, in terms of how public and obvious they're making it. But for me, they have to go. They quite simply have to go. Last summer's transfer window, I'm going to say, is by far the worst in Leeds United's history. I'd say by an absolute distance. I don't think there's even any question about it. The fact it's left us in such a mess. And it's probably one of the worst in recent football history as well, in terms of how much it's ruined the football club. Not only the relegation, but the lack of ability to build from it. It's one of the biggest messes I think we've ever seen in football. Like, genuinely ever seen in football, certainly in all my time. People disagree with it, say I'm overreacting, etc., etc. But tell me one that's been worse. There probably has been, but tell me, come on, let's have some examples, because this is an absolute travesty. Leeds United Football Club is in an absolute chaos at this moment in time. And yes, I know the 49ers are getting a lot of the blame. I know that. And we have to move. I'm not interested in excuses now. The 49ers, everyone at the club needs to step up now in these next 18 days. It's quite simple. Otherwise, there is not a chance Leeds United will be returning to the Premier League, not just this season, anytime soon, because it always has a domino effect. If you don't strengthen now, it's too late. Go into January, it's too late. And then all your best players next season will want to go again. So we have to strengthen now. We have to act now. The advantage in terms of parachute payments is now, the here and now, really. Not interested in a rebuilding project. This is Leeds United Football Club. This is Leeds United Football Club, this is. And yes, people will say, oh, I'm delusional. This is Leeds United Football Club. We're in the Championship. We can't be in the Championship. You can't ever class a season where Leeds finish in the Championship as a success. The ambition has to be to go up first time around. It's as simple as that for me. Am I saying it's realistic, it's going to happen? No, I'm not. Not at this moment in time. But the ambition has to be that. We cannot write off a season 2 games into it, and it feels like we're doing that at this moment in time. The previous regime has made this mess. It's quite obvious Victor Orta has created this mess in the first place and left us with players in the squads. Not all the players, because I thought the players that played against Birmingham did the best. In reality, that was a team that's just nowhere near a Championship promotion battle, like starting 11 yesterday. Yes, if you add 2 or 3 players to it, the level goes up quite a bit, I think. I think they're all solid players, but it's not good enough. You need that little bit of quality to win your games like that. Tough games away at Birmingham, a little bit of experience. You need that. And we didn't have that because the players who could give it us, aren't available for whatever reason. I'm not going too much into that, but look, they're not available. It's as simple as that. Some of these players have let down 2 or 3 managers now, and they're only going to do the same to Farke. So if they're not committed to this football club, they have to go for me. There's no messing around with that. They have to go, and we have to look to replace them. I don't think any of them are particularly irreplaceable. I genuinely wouldn't say any of them are irreplaceable. Sinistera is probably the closest to that. I'm hoping, there's been different reports on Sinistera in that lot. I want to see the positive of that it was an injury. It kept him out of the game, and I will try and see the positive of that, because he can be a super important player for us if he stays. But I wouldn't say anyone else in that squad, and even Sinistera with his injury history, is irreplaceable. Let's make that quite clear. We've had irreplaceable players. None of this lot at the minute are replaceable for me. Irreplaceable, rather. But you look at Leicester, Mavi Didi, Dewsbury Hall, Pereira, Doyle, and Didi. The levels above what we have at this moment in time, and they work much harder on the pitch as well. They're much more committed to, what their Leicester team's trying to build. Yes, it's a different project, but it's the mentality for me. Leicester have only lost Maddison and Barnes. and Tillemans obviously as well. But they've left it to that. They've been able to rebuild from there, and they've got players who are hungry and up for the fight. And listen, if Jack Harrison's wanting away, he's wanting away. But for me, Adams as well, the same. Have they really given us enough over the last year and 2 years to really be demanding these moves? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm not sure they're that much better than the Championship. I think the Premier League footballers potentially, but they're that much better. Is it outrageous that they can play Championship football? I don't think it is personally. Well, look at the team yesterday. As I said, no disrespect to the players, but you've got players in there who were looked at average at Norwich, Millwall, Blackpool, and Sunderland last season. Everyone knows who I'm referring to. I like them as footballers, but you can't throw them under the bus like that. For me, and they have been thrown under the bus to an extent because they need experience around them to carry them. Because I think they're all decent footballers, but they need quality around them as well. And it's just not acceptable. It's an embarrassing situation at this moment in time. And I know a lot of people want to blame the 49ers. And listen, no one, absolutely no one at the football club is blameless at this moment in time. This is an absolute disaster, this start to the season. Against two teams that finished in the bottom 6 last season and we took 1 point. It's unbelievable. I don't need to name names, but it's quite clear the previous regime have completely and utterly left us in this mess. And all this thing about Bielsa and that lot. And listen, Bielsa was an unbelievable honour to have at this football club, but that's not enough to justify what's happening in the last 2 years. It's we're further back now than where we were when Rajazani and also first took over the club. We're further back. We're far further back now. In terms of Gary Monk era, the back end of that, maybe we were a couple of signs away for promotion. Now we're back into mid-table. So for me, this is the reason we're in the mess, but it's all about how we respond to it now. It's an absolute disaster, this, at this moment in time. And I can't be positive. I love to be positive, but I can't. I really like the players who are on that pitch, but ultimately they need more quality around them. They need more experience. They need more help. And I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for Daniel Farke as well. How are we in this situation 2 games into the season? How are we in this situation? It's unbelievable, but it is typical Leeds. Smash that like button, guys, and please hit the subscribe button as well. And check out Football Prizes' latest competition as well. Leeds supporting Leeds, ran by a Leeds fan. Check out the latest competition. I'll leave the link in the description down below. Plenty of prizes on offer, and it does close tomorrow. 20 different prizes on offer. Check it out, guys. Cheers.